In a move that's part genuine investigation, part political theater, a House committee has just issued a bipartisan subpoena to former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. The target? Her communications and any knowledge related to the late notorious financier, Jeffrey Epstein. According to sources familiar with the investigation, the subpoena was authorized this week, compelling Bondi to turn over documents and sit for a deposition. This isn't some fringe partisan hit job. The vote reportedly had support from both sides of the aisle, which immediately cranks the pressure up to 11. Let's set the scene. Pam Bondi isn't just any former official. She's a Trump world fixture, a former Fox News contributor, and was a key defender during the former president's first impeachment. Her name surfacing in the sprawling, ugly aftermath of the Epstein saga is like throwing a lit match into a room full of political gasoline. For Democrats, it's a chance to pursue a legitimate line of inquiry while simultaneously putting a prominent Republican in a brutally uncomfortable hot seat. For Republicans, especially those aligned with Trump, it's a nightmare scenario of guilt by association, a classic gaslighting play where the mere act of investigation becomes a damaging narrative. The headline alone does the damage. Bondi subpoenaed in Epstein probe. It doesn't matter what the specifics are yet. The connection is made. The seed is planted. Bondi's role as a former top state law enforcement official makes it all the more potent. What did she know? When did she know it? Was there any communication between her office and anyone in Epstein's orbit? The questions write themselves, and each one carries a whiff of scandal. For the committee Democrats, this is a 2-for-1 special. First, they get to chase actual answers in one of the most shadowy scandals of our time. Second, they get to force Republicans into a no-win public relations battle. If GOP members on the committee oppose the subpoena too vigorously, they look like they're obstructing justice for a friend. If they support it, they're seen as turning on their own. Bondi herself is now in a political vice. Ignoring the subpoena risks contempt charges. Complying means walking into a televised deposition where every "I don't recall" will be dissected like a frog in a high school lab, and every answered question has the potential to unleash a new firestorm. The energy in the room, according to insiders, is already electric with a mix of dread and opportunism. You can almost hear the frantic texting and the hurried strategy calls. This is the kind of story that doesn't just have legs, it has tentacles. It touches on justice, privilege, corruption, and the insular world of political protection. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. The dam isn't just cracking from the outside, it's springing leaks from within. The GOP's once impenetrable shield around Trump is showing serious fractures, and the most telling signs are coming from the ranks of his own allies. We're talking about conservative Republicans, the ones who built their brands on Trump loyalty, now starting to break ranks over this Epstein mess. It's a political earthquake, and the epicenter is the House Judiciary Committee. Take Nancy Mace. The South Carolina Republican, a frequent Trump defender, went on the record with a stunningly blunt assessment. She didn't just sidestep, she took a direct shot. She said, and this is a direct quote, "Anybody that's a friend or a close associate with Jeffrey Epstein should be held accountable." The subtext was screaming. When pressed, she refused to defend Trump on the matter, a deafening silence in the world of modern politics. Then there's Lauren Boebert, the firebrand from Colorado. Another figure deeply embedded in the MAGA ecosystem, has been conspicuously quiet. But her silence is a statement. Sources close to her office say there's an active directive to avoid commenting on the subpoena or Trump's Epstein links altogether. This erosion of unity isn't an accident. It's a direct response to the evidence. The committee's subpoena to Bondi isn't a fishing expedition. It's reportedly backed by a trail of documents and witness statements that place Trump's interactions with Epstein in a much more specific and much harder to explain timeline. The GOP now faces an impossible internal rift. The old playbook of unified denial is crumbling. On one side, you have the die-hard Trump stalwarts who will dismiss any evidence as a deep state hoax. On the other, a growing contingent of conservatives who see the mounting pile and realize that tying the party's fate to this specific aspect of Trump's past is a catastrophic mistake. They're caught between the base, which demands absolute fealty, and the broader electorate, which sees Epstein as the ultimate symbol of corrupt impunity. This isn't about policy or ideology anymore, it's about basic, visceral judgment, and for the first time, a significant slice of Trump's shield wall is looking at the oncoming evidence and deciding to step aside. The energy has shifted from defensive solidarity to every member for themselves survival. You can see it in the frantic off-the-record briefings to friendly media, where aides are suddenly emphasizing their boss's long-standing commitment to justice for victims without ever mentioning Trump's name. The gaslighting is getting harder to sustain, and now we're in the hearing room. The energy is a live wire. You can feel the partisans split in the air, thick enough to cut with a knife. Then there's the other faction of Republicans, the quieter ones. They're asking dry, procedural questions. They're not defending Trump, they're trying to manage the fallout. Their strategy is containment. If they can keep the testimony focused on narrow legal definitions, on the specific actions of one man years ago, maybe they can prevent the stain from spreading to the entire party brand. But that's the gamble. And it's looking shakier by the minute, because this hearing isn't about legal minutia. It's about a story, and the story is about a billionaire, a predator, and a president who partied with them. The breaking point will be Florida Attorney General Ashley Bondi's testimony. She's the X factor. According to sources close to the committee, her closed-door deposition was explosive. She didn't just confirm details, she provided context. When she takes the public stand, the impact won't be a legal bombshell, it will be a credibility avalanche. She dismantles the primary Republican defense that this is all partisan fantasy. Her testimony gives permission. Permission for other Republicans, for donors, for suburban voters who held their nose in 2016 and 2020 to finally say, enough. It transforms the narrative from Democrats versus Trump to the truth versus a conspiracy of silence. So let's predict the fallout. The immediate Trump administration fallout isn't about legal liability. It's about political isolation. We're already seeing the early tremors. Longtime advisors are spending more time with family. Surrogates on cable news are suddenly vague, offering no comment or pivoting to economic talking points. The fundraising emails get more desperate, more shrill. The smart money in D.C., according to reports from veteran insiders, is now betting on a full-scale retreat. Not from Trump himself, he'll never admit wrongdoing, but from the people around him. They see Bondi's testimony as the point of no return. It provides a credible, damning, and utterly nonpartisan account that the media can run with for weeks. The internal GOP polling must be apocalyptic. This scandal touches a third rail that even January 6th didn't. It's not about politics, it's about morality. It's about the abuse of young women, and in the court of public opinion, especially with key swing demographics, that's a losing battle. The potential fallout is a fractured coalition. The base digs in, screaming betrayal. The independents and moderates flee, and the party elites are left holding a bag of toxicity just months before an election. This hearing was supposed to be a controlled detonation. Manage the damage, isolate the issue. But here's the thing about controlled detonations. Sometimes you miscalculate the payload. Sometimes the thing you're trying to contain is so volatile, it blows back in your face. And that subpoena? That wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a lit match tossed into a room soaked in gasoline. The historical significance of this subpoena isn't just about one man, it's about the precedent. It's the proof that the guardrails, while bent and battered, can still hold. This move by the committee cuts through all of that. It's a declaration that the clock has stopped, that the facts, once established by a credible witness like Bondi, demand immediate consequence. It signals that personal misconduct, especially of this alleged nature, is no longer a distraction to be managed, but a fireable offense at the highest level. What does this mean for accountability moving forward? Buckle up. The old rules are gone. The implicit pact, where party loyalty trumped moral and legal scrutiny, just got a subpoena taped to its forehead. This is a green light for every oversight committee, every investigative body, and frankly, every journalist with a source. The message is clear. If they can go there, to the very inner sanctum, then no one is off limits. For political transparency, this is a forced evolution. You can't unring this bell. The committee, by leveraging Bondi's testimony into immediate action, has created a new template, It's no longer enough to issue a sternly worded report that gathers dust. The public now has a benchmark. Credible allegation, followed by credible witness, must be followed by credible action. And action no longer means a voluntary resignation after the heat dies down. It means the full, compulsory, and public force of the law. The fallout we're about to see will be a masterclass in realignment. The GOP's internal civil war is just the opening act. Watch the donor class. Watch the suburban vote. They're doing the math, and the numbers around a scandal involving abuse and cover-ups don't add up to victory. They're facing a choice: die on this hill with the base, or cut their losses and try to salvage the brand. Most will choose the latter. The money always does. But beyond the politics, this is about a cultural shift. For years, the political discourse felt untethered from reality. You could say one thing, do another, and face zero professional cost. It was the ultimate Karen move on a national scale, demanding to see the manager of democracy while breaking all its rules. This subpoena is the system finally saying, "Ma'am, we are the managers, and you need to leave the premises." So where does it end? It ends with a trial, either in a courtroom or the court of public opinion, but a trial nonetheless. It ends with a definitive record.